you being you is more important than what you can necessarily do, because the things you do are results of who you are and the processes and habits you are as a person. And they were willing to invest in who I was, and I was able to produce something for them. And since then, we've had a great relationship. And who am I as a person? I'm a community-driven person. Everywhere I've been, I've always been part of a community. And the thing is, I'm quite, like I said, I'm a nerdy person, right? That also means I wasn't necessarily the cool kid, right? I was a little chubby guy who I was twerking by walking. My cheeks were like, just like that. I was jiggling all over the place. No one could stop me. And I was a black boy as well. I liked theatre. I was loud. You know what I mean? But I wasn't the most well off. My swag was plimsolls. Nike what's? Plimsolls. That's me. Yeah. So I wasn't necessarily the cool kid. I wasn't necessarily part of a lot of things, but because of that, I spent a lot of time on reflection, and because of that, I was very focused on who I was and what values I could bring and how I could help. Because I've been bullied, I've been through something, and because I know what it's like to be isolated, I know what it's like to be bullied, I know what it's like to be put down, I know what it's like to not believe in your own value. My job in life is to make sure that people around me understand their value. Hence why I be part of communities, hence BYP and all of that. And especially in the analytics world, where it's a bunch of people who are taught, put your head down and don't do anything and just focus on the work. We need to learn that we don't just bring operations to work, we bring personality and we bring self. You need to raise your head and speak and learn your voice, because some people don't actually know their own voice, which is what a lot of our workshops are about, teaching you how to take ownership and learn a bit more about what you can say. You don't need to be the loud, charismatic person, you know what I mean? Everyone has their own speaker profile. You could be the quiet person who, the one time you speak, makes a difference. You could be the chatty person who, you're not necessarily saying the biggest and maddest things, but people love having you around because you're a hug around the heart. And then you have the people who are the shouters and charismatic, and they do their thing too. So you need to learn yourself and know yourself. I learned myself and I knew myself, and I understood that my value is understanding how I devalued myself, how I now see value in myself, and I want others to raise themselves up as well. And so that is what drives me a lot within all of my work. That's why I'm into storytelling and changing narratives and all of that. That's why I do BYP stuff. And so the community stuff kind of enforces who I am as a person, and hence when I sell myself as a business, as a professional and all of that, people buy into me because they understand that I am more than me. I am an impact and I'm a movement by God's grace. And so they're willing to invest and at least try me out. The worst thing that can happen is that they're going to get a jiggly boy who twerks while he walks and is nerdy about random stuff. But does that answer your question?
I think even like there's two things I want to highlight from what you said. I think one comes like again to like a spiritual point, because there was this really interesting sermon. This great guy, his name is Paul Shula. He does these things. He does like a weekly sermon called Hour of Power at the church on a Sunday, but they upload it on YouTube so you can check them out. But he said like it's really keeping that. I think from like a faith aspect is very important, but also if the people who maybe aren't Christians, it's still very important as well. But he was just like, God is more interested in who you become than what you accomplish. And it links to what you were saying there with the interview. People are more interested in who you are as a candidate than essentially even if you've got every skill required on paper. Because there are people, like you say, that like have all this, like they exceed the job requirement. They are like on paper, they're the best candidate. And come to the interview, people are just like, yeah, you can tell this person that is not interested in this job at all. They just want it for maybe the name of the organization, maybe the pay rise, whatever, but they're just like, I can tell this person isn't interested.